Yeah, and if we kill him, we get to go to bed. I'm tired.
It's hard to pick the best part of the Succession finale. It might be how Tom's whole energy changes when Matsson tells him he'll be the new CEO.
Instead of the baby lady. Yeah. It's just right.
Maybe it's something easy, like the last time we get to see Tom mess with Greg and take care of him.
I got you.
Every moment in Succession's last episode is amazing, but nothing compares to the siblings' last fight in the conference room.
I'm the eldest boy!
This scene is the climax of the whole series, and they nailed it. All episode, Shiv is fighting her inner jealousy and competitiveness, but when she sees Kendall playing CEO in the office, she finally gives in to who she really is and decides she won't vote for him. That sends Kendall into a complete panic, and all of his worst traits come to the surface too. He starts insulting Shiv and pleading with her and manipulating her and screaming at her.
This doesn't make, logic. Where's the logic?
He throws everything he has at Shiv, and in the process, shatters the illusion for Roman. The tension builds and builds, and finally, Shiv says the most memorable line in the whole show.
You can't be CEO. You can't, because you killed someone.
Jesus. It seems like a simple line, but it hits harder than anything I remember seeing on TV. It's such a massive bomb that Kendall basically malfunctions and tries to make the whole thing just go away.
That didn't happen.
Wait, it didn't. As in what?
It's just a thing I said. It's a thing I said. I made it up.
What makes the moment so good is the same thing that makes the whole finale so good. It reminds us we're watching a tragedy. One of the most important aspects of a tragedy is that no matter what happens, no matter how hopeful a moment might seem, the characters are doomed from the start. And if you think about it, Succession never really hides that it's a tragedy. A central part of the show is that the kids can't break away from their own programming. Unlike Connor, they can't fully accept that they'll never get the love they need from Logan, and it ruins their lives.
You're needy love sponges, and I'm a plant that grows on rocks and lives off insects that die inside of me.
But Succession pulled off a magic trick. Since Logan died in episode 4 and hasn't been around to kill our hope, the show's slowly been able to convince us that maybe, just maybe, Kendall would be able to run Waystar. Think about it. Everything we learn about Matsson makes him seem unstable and flawed.
I sent her some of my blood.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Kendall goes head to head with Matsson and seems to handle it pretty well. Then, he puts together what seems like a ridiculous real estate plan, and he kind of pulls it off in the end. After that, Kendall saves the day again at Logan's funeral.
He made life happen.
To put a cherry on top, Kendall gets an edge on Matsson in the last episode by using Greg as a plant and learning Matsson's plan to stab Shiv in the back. Once we finally get to the vote, everything is telling us that Kendall really might be able to pull this off. And then, with Shiv's one line, the whole essence of Succession comes rushing back, and we remember, oh yeah, this is a tragedy. Kendall literally helped kill a kid in a drug-fueled bender. He can't run the company. He could never have run the company.
Shut it down.
All the hope we felt these last few episodes and the love between the siblings at their mom's place was just a house of cards ready to fall apart. And wow, it really, really falls apart. In the end, Shiv becomes her mom, Roman gives up hope completely, and Kendall is a shell of himself. I mean, really, how could it have gone any worse? And still, when I think about it, I feel like Succession has a happy ending. Well, maybe not a happy ending, but this feels like the happiest ending we could have got. Logan made his kids compete for his love their whole life. He strung them along by implying that one of them could finally get his approval if they just became CEO. But in the end, the siblings are doomed. Even Shiv knows they never had a chance at winning Logan over.
I don't think Dad gave a about anything more than putting one foot in front of the other.
One of the main themes of Succession is that abuse is a cycle. Logan never felt love from his dad, so he can't feel love for his own kids. And the same is true about Kendall and his kids, and it'll be true about Shiv and her kid, and so on. These people are doomed to become exactly what made their lives awful in the first place. Even if Kendall had become CEO, or Shiv, or Roman, it wouldn't have fixed what was broken about them. There was no happy ending for the kids, whether Kendall won the game or not. So, if it had to go to anyone, I kinda think Tom was the most optimistic option. Sure, Tom is selfish and materialistic and has no morals. But really, that's true about everyone in Succession. One difference is that Tom just deserved the spot more than the kids did. Tom went from a complete outsider to a powerful part of Waystar even before becoming CEO, and he's the only one of the 4 that earned it. The whole time Tom was climbing the ranks, he had no one backing him. He says it himself.
Who has ever looked after you in this f***ing family?
Even more importantly, Tom is the only character in the whole show who ever looks out for anyone else, Greg. Yeah, their relationship is toxic and abusive, but Tom actually tries to help Greg even when it doesn't benefit him. Their last moment together is the only uplifting moment in the whole finale, because at that point, Tom doesn't need to keep Greg around to feed his ego. Everyone at Waystar is now Tom's personal Greg. He chooses to keep Greg around because he actually likes Greg, and that's all. Tom is a complicated character. Yes, he was basically with Shiv because of her money and power, but it's pretty undeniable that he cared about and loved her on some level, and she never showed the same for him. She was completely willing to send Tom to prison without defending him at all. It was truly Tom against the world, and even if he's a bad person, he's a morally complicated guy who earned what he has. That's more than you can say about any of the siblings. Obviously, nothing about the Succession finale is actually happy, but it does feel like the inevitable ending in a perfect way. And if anyone had to be CEO, I think it should have been Tom. It just feels right.
I thought it made sense dramaturgically.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna start making videos that are more in this lane, so if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. I hope I see you soon.